is Jemila from circumspect.com. For those of you who don't understand what I just said peace be upon you, which is the official greeting that Muslims give to people. So I mentioned on Instagram that I was going to do a video blog regarding Ramadan, which some of you probably have seen Ramadan trending on Twitter or seen so many people posting about Ramadan, and you probably have questions or you're wondering what is Ramadan, what's the big fuss about it. Here with me all year. I do not represent the views of all 1 billion plus Muslims in the world. It's not possible. I'm not trying to. I'm simply sharing my understandings of a month that I really do enjoy and I always look forward to. And hopefully the aim of this is to foster some understanding, because I feel like the mainstream media tends to really portray a one-sided image of Islam and Muslims. So I'm just trying to share what it means to me. Ramadan is the name of the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. It is also the month in which the Holy Quran, which is the book of Muslims that Muslims use, it's the month that the Holy Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it is a very, very important month for many Muslims. It is a month of prayer, of meditation, of moderation, restraint, of charity, and giving alms, and really I think of just being more cognizant of oneself and thankful for the blessings that you have in your life. Fasting itself is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The general idea is to restrain yourself from eating and from drinking and from having intimate relations, but also it goes beyond that, because it's restraint and moderation in all that you do, in being more conscious of how you talk, what you watch, what you listen to, what you think about, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, how you treat your environment. For me, or at least the way I understand Ramadan and fasting, it's really restraint and conscious living. Now, what fasting entails, basically, as I mentioned, the key word here is restraint. What that means is, for Muslims all over the world, they won't eat or drink or have sex during the hours of the fast. Instead, what they do is they do a lot of praying, you read the Quran, you give alms. Yes, you do your work and all of that stuff, but it's really contemplating and taking a moment to go within and to nurture your spirit or your soul. I'll use Ghana because over here the timing is a bit off over here. This time it's smack in the summer, and here in the US that means that instead of fasting 12 hours a day, we're going to be fasting 16 hours a day. But anyway, it's God's will, and this is where we are, and we're going to make the most of it, and we're going to try and do a good job too. So you wake up in the morning and pre-dawn. Let's say at home in Ghana, my family would wake up around 3:30 just to prepare a meal, make sure everybody has something to eat. You have the pre-dawn meal, which is called the suhoor, and basically what that does is it's the opportunity to take in something to sustain you throughout the day. The key word here is moderation. I've seen people who will have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the space of those 30 minutes or that hour before they start their fast. And I don't know if that really is the idea behind Ramadan, but you just need something to sustain you. Water, definitely water. You want to hydrate yourself so that you are not dehydrated, especially with the hot Ghanaian sun as well. Then you say the first prayer of the day, which is the Fajr prayer. And after the Fajr prayer, well, pretty much the day starts after 5 a.m. at home. So, you know, you go about your duties. The kids prepare for school. The workers prepare to go to work. Pretty much all of that. difference here is whereas you would have lunch, you're not going to have lunch. So I would usually just work throughout the day, or I would take a break and go for a walk, you know, also say my afternoon prayers. And really, they do give you some respite. I can't explain it, but it gives you some respite because you're switching modes in a way. So you break your fast around 6 p.m. In the Quran, it is recommended that you break your fast with dates. And then you can also break your fast with water. And, you know, typically you have fruits because you're trying to replenish your system from the nutrients that it didn't get throughout the day. You replenish, and then you say your Maghrib or your early evening prayer. Say your Isha prayer, which is the last prayer of the day, and then have dinner. And then you're good to go, pretty much. No, you don't drink water during the day either. No food, no water. Fasting is recommended for all Muslims, but there are exceptions to the rule. Pregnant women don't fast. Very young kids don't fast. Traveling, you don't fast. If you're very old, you don't fast. If you're a young woman or a woman who's on her period, you don't fast. For all of these people, you can understand why. You don't want them to get too weak, or you don't want to put their health in jeopardy. So that allowance is made. A lot of the Quranic verses on Ramadan and fasting basically say that, you know, everything that an individual does is unto themselves, but Ramadan, we do it for God. We do it in order to be in communion with Him, and in order to lean on Him and strengthen our spirits. And a lot of that also means asking for forgiveness and repenting of sins, or repenting of past mistakes, and rededicating yourself and saying, you know, these are my commitments and I plan to fulfill them. It's always recommended that you prepare for Ramadan. And by prepare, I don't just mean stock up your fridge. As with anything in life, you know, just try to have a general idea of what you hope to gain from the month. It's a very, very auspicious occasion, and it's an opportunity to really even get to know yourself better and get to look at some of your fears and assess what it is that makes you happy, or what it is that you really need in life. I think that's always very important, to reflect and to assess how far you're coming in meeting specific goals. You know, we have a lot of wants in this world. Oh, I want that dress, I want this. Take a moment to acknowledge what is, and take a moment to be thankful for what you do have. If there are things that you don't have yet that you want, you take a moment to ask for them and to pray for them. And people come up with goals for Ramadan. It's a good thing to plan and to be more conscious, and I think it's a good skill as well. Ramadan, as I mentioned, it follows the lunar calendar. We start Ramadan based on the sighting of the new moon. This is also based on scientific calculations. So Islam is actually one of those religions where science is just littered all over the place. That means there are some people who are going to start on Wednesday, some who are going to start today, who are going to start on Thursday. It probably sounds very, very confusing for a lot of you, Muslims included, but really what it is back in the day when there wasn't things like FaceTime, which I'm using to record this, or the internet, and when information didn't move so quickly, people just relied on when they saw the moon in their location. But now that there's so much information and people know, like we already know in Saudi Arabia, they're not fasting, and they have issued a directive that people fast on Wednesday, the Muslim authority in the different countries can decide to follow what Saudi Arabia does or not. It does seem to be a little confusing, but ultimately at the end of the day, everyone is going to fast about 30 days or 29 days, regardless of where you are, regardless of when you see the moon. So that's the general rule.
Love is everywhere, so much peace fills up the air. Ramadan, month of the